A tragic motorcycle collision claims the life of an area teenager. Good evening, I'm Ryan Benazzo. Thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay OPP and the Northwest Region Traffic Incident Team continue to investigate the fatal crash at the corner of Maple Ward Road and Highway 1117. The collision happened around 6:45 yesterday morning between a motorcycle and a car. The motorcycle driver, a 17-year-old male from Kekabeka Falls, was transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The highway was closed in all directions for about 7 hours. There's no word yet on whether any charges will be laid. Anyone with information or dash cam footage that may assist police is asked to contact Thunder Bay OPP or Crime Stoppers. Thunder Bay City Council got heated last night while discussing a memorandum regarding 3 designated encampment sites. That proposal would allow council to approve the criteria for the locations, but some councillors wanted to be more involved in the decision-making process for those locations. Jessica Clement explains.
Now that a site has been selected for the temporary shelter village on Alloy Place, city staff can start looking at another section of the 10-part homelessness plan, which involves the city having 3 designated encampment sites. West Fork Councillor Kristen Oliver brought forward a motion during Monday night's meeting to allow council to approve and give feedback on the criteria, which will determine where tent encampments will be able to exist.
We would be working collaboratively with administration, who would then be working with the service providers. But I think that the community has an expectation that council is involved in the development of that process.
At-large Councillor Rajni Agarwal put forward an amendment to remove a section of the motion, stating she'd prefer to be involved in the whole process of picking a location, not just approving the criteria.
We need it to be robust throughout all sides of our community. So to get the criteria, I'm good with that. To give full authority to choose direction on the different sites, I'm not good with that.
McKellar Ward Councillor Brian Hamilton wasn't on board with Agarwal's amendment.
I certainly don't have the confidence of this body to be able to make these very tough decisions that are absolutely dependent on having good data and good information. We get swayed easily by emotion. We get swayed easily by the politics of it.
As councillors, our code of ethics states that we get on board with it. So for someone to state that they have zero confidence in us based on one decision, I take great offense to that. I think others would too.
At-large Councillor Mark Bentz agreed with Agarwal, stating council should be part of the whole decision-making process.
We can certainly rely on our administration to make their best recommendations on criteria and then sites. And then this body would debate the sites. I'm very opposed to delegation of that magnitude of such a politically charged issue to our administrators.
Both Agarwal's amendment and Oliver's memorandum lost on a 5-5 tie. There may be a chance for a revote during the next council meeting. However, if nothing changes, City Manager John Collins says they will move forward with what was outlined in the 10-part plan.
We're still going to go away, do all the analysis and everything else, and come back to council with our recommendations for the 3 tent encampments. We don't need any more direction to do that. We already have that within the 10-part plan.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Also last night, City Council locked in its budget target for 2026, a 2.6% tax levy increase. In a unanimous vote, members approved city staff's recommendation, which also includes implementing a multi-year capital budget. Jonathan Wilson has the details.
City staff presented council with the 2026 budget direction report at Monday night's meeting, which would see a 2.6% tax levy increase before growth. That represents the total amount the city has to collect from taxpayers to fund municipal spending. And as mentioned by City Manager John Collin, it's substantially lower than last year's increase.
To get from 3.8 to 2.6 will be a challenge. We believe we can do it. And I believe that we can do it without having significant impact on delivery of services or programmings.
Administration took the same approach as last year, pegging the increase to the 4-year rolling average of the Consumer Price Index. At-large Councillor Mark Bentz asked how sustainable the target is, given the low growth that Thunder Bay currently has.
What kind of growth targets do we need to make this a sustainable approach? Or maybe it's just for a short time. If you could just give me your philosophy with regards to this approach.
What do we need in the long term? We need 3% growth. The rationale for the 3% figure is, first of all, it is achievable in the long term. But secondly, 3% should always be above CPI. It is not a policy that is sustainable in the long term unless growth significantly increases.
Council also moved to a 2-year capital budget covering 2026 and 2027, with the second year's levy limited to 2.1%. At-large Councillor Rajni Agrawal asked about the potential challenges in the future, like a recessionary period, and how the city would respond.
The local mines closing down and some of the pressures on Southern Ontario's building. If that hasn't hit us, but if we were to go there, I'm not trying to be the negative here, but I just want to be realistic. What are we doing to offset? Are we going to dip into our reserves and use sustainability to meet our goal?
City Treasurer Carrie Greaves noted the city has funds in its stabilization reserve, giving flexibility to respond to unforeseen circumstances.
So we have that ability to respond if those situation transpires, but we're not factoring that any increases into the budget to just in case that it does happen.
Council unanimously approved the 2026 budget direction and calendar. The actual budget deliberations are scheduled for November for the capital budget and January for the operating side. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
There's been a guilty plea in a 2024 Thunder Bay murder case. The accused, 24-year-old Brady Nugent, was initially charged with second-degree murder following the death of another man on the city's north side. But Nugent has avoided a trial by pleading guilty to manslaughter. Thunder Bay police officers responded to the incident in the area of Camelot and St. Paul Streets just after 2:30 a.m. on May 4th of last year. 20-year-old Tyler Bluen was located in serious condition. He was rushed to hospital where he later succumbed to his injuries. Nugent turned himself in to police soon after. Now that he's pleaded guilty, the case will return to the Thunder Bay Courthouse in October to set a date for a sentencing hearing. 2 weeks after a joint forces drug bust in Fort William First Nation, the OPP has announced drug trafficking charges against the 2 people arrested. A search warrant was executed on Mission Road on July 30th. The OPP Guns and Gangs unit, with help from NAPS and the Anishinaabe Police Service, seized 150 grams of cocaine and crack cocaine, 6 imitation firearms, and $1,500 in cash. A 40-year-old suspect from Fort William First Nation was arrested and charged with cocaine trafficking, possession of proceeds of crime, and possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose. A 25-year-old Thunder Bay man was also arrested for cocaine trafficking. The pair remain in custody. Elementary teachers in Ontario have launched a campaign to reduce class sizes. It's a top priority issue at the ETFO convention in Toronto. CTV's Natalie Johnson explains.
With just a few weeks to go before kids go back to school, the union representing public elementary teachers is sounding the alarm over class sizes in the year ahead.
We've been saying this for years, but it's reached a critical mass, and we're saying that the government needs to invest in public education.
With 1 year to go before the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario contract expires, hundreds of educators met today in Toronto, declaring class size a top priority in their next round of bargaining talks.
Reduction in class size is one way to address some of the violence that we're seeing in schools. Reduction in class size means more one-to-one attention for our students.
Right now, grades 1 to 3 have an average class size of 20 students. Grades 4 to 8 have an average class size of 24.5, but there are no caps on class sizes for those grades, meaning some classes could have upwards of 30 students.
ADFO is now calling on the province to cap grade 4 to 8 classrooms at 24 students, kindergarten classrooms at 26.
The province did not respond to CTV News' request for comment. Some parents say they'll be watching class sizes closely this year.
I don't want them facing the same struggles that I had. You know, we always want our next generation to be what's best for our next of kin.
More resources for school is always good, although I wouldn't actually expect that to happen with the current government.
The teacher's current contract expires just days before the start of school in 2026. Natalie Johnson, CTV News.
Residents in the Copenhagen Road area may have felt their homes shake today as Pioneer Construction set off a big blast at their nearby rock quarry. It happened at noon sharp. The company conducts blasting at the site 1 or 2 times a year. The controlled explosives break up rock into manageable pieces for extraction and processing into gravel and other aggregates used for construction. As a precaution, the Terry Fox Lookout and Information Center was temporarily closed from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Visitors were encouraged to go to the Pagoda Information Center on Red River Road instead. And traffic along the Trans-Canada Highway and Hodder Avenue was held up for about 10 minutes until after the explosion was finished. Local kids and their families had a chance to cool off from the summer heat and enjoy a festival day at the Art Widnall swimming pool today. Activities were planned throughout the day for the kiddos. Jaden Billick was there.
The annual Family Day Festival splashed into Art Widnall Pool with an afternoon of community fun for all ages. Facility operator Chloe Watson said those in attendance enjoyed the buzz of activity with a full day of free swimming, games, prizes, and much more.
We raise money through selling treats and candies at the front desk to be able to put this on, and our AFOs put it on every year, so it was Asia and Owen that planned it this summer for us. And they've planned games and activities, and we got a whole bunch of prizes donated through many sponsors in the community so that we're able to have prizes attached to all those games for the kiddos.
And speaking of the kiddos, they enjoyed everything from the pool to the sweet treats. And after a 10-minute rain delay forced everyone out of the pool as a safety precaution, they returned as quickly as possible. Many of the kids we spoke to say their favorite part was winning prizes and spending the day with family and friends.
It's super fun. We went down the slides lots, and then we dove for the fish in the pool.
Okay, very cool. So you're an expert swimmer then, you'd say? Yeah.
I'm here with my friend Natalie. She's in the deep end now, and my sister.
Right.
I love swimming in the deep end with my sister because she's just getting better at swimming right now, but she's doing a good job.
Watson says putting these events on for community enjoyment is always a nice way of giving back, and seeing almost 100 people enjoy the pool is a great way of spending the tail end of the summer.
So every year, each of the community aquatic facilities hosts a festival day. We got super lucky this year with lots of donations. The community helped out with that so that we're able to provide some pretty cool things.
Jaden Billick, TBT News.
A lot of people out there taking advantage of that great event today. And Haley, I would imagine that the outdoor pool has probably been pretty busy over the past few days. It remains hot out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Temperatures in the mid-20s, but the humidex making it feel even hotter. That's been the trend, and that continued today. 25 is right around seasonal for this time of year. I mean, it is August. We are expecting it to be fairly hot, and the humidex is showing that even more so. And we did hear there, too, there was a brief pause because of showers or potential for showers, because they were very brief and localized today, but areas of Thunder Bay did see light rain showers. Some may even say drizzles at times because they were very brief. I know here in the north side of the city, I saw showers around 11 this morning and around 2 in the afternoon, but they only lasted a few minutes at a time, so still plenty of time to get out and enjoy the day. We did have a few gusty moments as well in the afternoon. Winds from the west did get up to 40 kilometers an hour at times, so that's moderately gusty, but for the most part, it was pretty lovely. And in the morning, we had a nice, calm, breezy and light day, and it was mostly cloudy for the most part, but there were pop-up hours of some sunshine as well. Now for our region, the system that's moving through is very light, but it does have quite the range to it and very sporadic. So at this hour, we can see that it has quite a reach across our northwestern portion of the region, but it's also moving very quickly as well. So it comes in, comes out throughout the day, and we see that in our trends here as well. We also see some cooler temperatures for some areas of the region. Not used to seeing the teens quite yet, but yes, we're seeing Upsala and Armstrong at 18 right now, and Red Lake at 18 as well. well. They did have a high of 20 earlier in the day, but Humidex in the northwest didn't really play much of a factor. We see 19 in Dryden, Kenora, and Sioux Lookout right now. Sioux Lookout was one of those areas that experienced a very complex day. They've seen a lot of smoke. They had a thunderstorm earlier, and their temperatures have really been fluctuating. They actually have just seen a high of 19 today, and they've been going back and forth between 19 and 17 degrees for most of the day. Fort Frances is currently seeing a brief period of showers right now, but they're one of the warmer areas to the west. They're at 22, and they have seen Humidex today, making it feel like 26. Now, elsewhere, we've seen light sporadic showers as well, even in Armstrong and Greenstone. Greenstone has also seen a mix of mist in the morning. They're now seeing a very hazy day as well. Nipigon is one of our areas that's a little bit warmer. They're at 24 right now, which is their high for the day. The Humidex making it feel around 27, 28, so right around seasonal. Sault Ste. Marie is at 24 right now as well, but they're a bit of a different story. Their Humidex has been making it feel 10 degrees hotter there, so quite a hot day there. And we'll see trends later down further south in Ontario that are also very hot. So they're one of those areas that is trending on the hotter side. They're mostly cloudy at this hour. As for Thunder Bay tonight, we'll drop down to 11, which is once again right around seasonal. Luckily today, Thunder Bay has been seeing pretty reasonable temperatures, and we'll have partly cloudy conditions. A 40% chance of showers, but only until around 8 o'clock. Then we drop down to a 30% chance of showers, and that's similar with our risk of thunderstorm. That's only going to last until around 8 or 9 o'clock, and then it should just be a 30% chance of showers. Winds from the northwest, still gusty at times for the next few hours as well, but we should settle into a fairly nice night tonight, Ryan. And over the next 2 days, it's going to be interesting here. We're going to drop in temperatures a little bit, nothing crazy, but we might feel a little bit of a cool relief.
Okay, yeah, probably good news for a lot of people who are looking for ways to beat the heat over the last several days. All right, thanks a lot, Haley.